I show up. That's the most enduring contribution I think I make. I started doing activism work when I was 10. I wrote to the Soapbox Derby, "Why aren't little girls allowed to participate?" They wrote back and said, "You sound like a fine young woman and you will do well, but no." And that was the beginning of my activism. As president of the Resource Center, I bring that passion, that experience, and my enjoyment to everything we do.
I pride myself in being a connector of individuals and organizations, whether it's nonprofits, corporations, large businesses, whether it is for the LGBT community or for the BIPOC community. I truly believe being an advocate for diversity, equity, and inclusion is something that I have been able to contribute.
My superpower is my vulnerability, and I've been able to communicate to people and help educate and help them, bridge the gap between professionalism and the queer community. I think my biggest contribution is being able to be a visible advocate and be able to showcase my talent and what I do as a structural engineer to fashion modeling.
The LGBT population, the Q+ population, is marginalized in many ways. And that population has a much higher incidence of substance abuse and mental health issues. So I'm very fortunate as an addiction medicine physician to be able to take using evidence-based medicine and creating a PowerPoint and a curriculum.
For well over 30 years, Metro Inclusive Health has been focused on equality. With an LGBTQ+ focus, what that means to our patients is providing an atmosphere that is welcoming, affirming, and most of all, understanding.
The advice I would give to foster a more inclusive workplace is to show up authentically every day and do really good work.
I would say my advice to others on how to foster a more inclusive workplace and equality would be, first of all, to start off promoting diverse candidates from within, because diverse candidates in leadership are able to then effect change downward through the company.
Start by working on creating a safe space in your immediate workplace and being a visible role model for others to follow. Add your pronouns to your signature line. Wear a rainbow lanyard around the office, or post a Pride or Allied card in your workspace. Changes that may seem small will make a bigger impact than you think.
Be yourself, be out there, talk about your family, talk about your weekend, talk about your relatives. Let everybody know that it's normal. We all have kids, we all have parents, we all have grandparents, we all have individuals in the community that maybe don't conform to what everybody finds is normal, but they are normal. They're just people, just like me, just like you.
I would recommend fostering a culture of inclusion just to make sure that everybody at your company feels welcome and included, making sure that we set up those policies and procedures to prevent discrimination and to create healthy conversation about who works for the company and why. And it just sort of adds to their quality of work.
I would define diversity and inclusion within my company and within the community as an essential element of business, but also of humanity. So we actually started our agency because we couldn't find an agency that focused on diversity, equity, and inclusion. Because when you're a company that is known for diversity and inclusion, that's where magic happens, right? That's where people feel included, welcomed, loved, and celebrated, and opportunity is there.
Having started my accounting career 10 years ago, there really wasn't representation for people like me. To this day, I have yet to have an openly gay person as a coworker in accounting. I really appreciate the opportunity to be a business owner in Tampa because it gives me the opportunity to be the representation and visibility that I never saw. I think in the times that we're in right now, providing safe spaces for being inclusive, being respected, valued, safe to all our people, internal and external, are really just the bare minimum we can kind of offer each other.
Well, it's really hard to define myself as an ally. I just always thought I was a caring person, just someone that really wanted to take care of mankind. I was bullied a lot growing up for being heavy, and my sister was also bullied just for being an artistic person. My best friend, he was also bullied for being gay, and that was where I thought, I need to step in, take care of people.
Being an ally is important because I've seen from having family members and close friends who identify as LGBTQ being treated in ways that are different from myself that I just never thought was right. In the workplace, we are very fortunate to have rolled out organizational values recently that include community as well as equity. And within our value of community, we talk about making sure we have diverse voices at the table at all times. Being an ally is important to me because I always try to live by that Niemöller poem, which says, "They came for me and there was no one left." I always think about, if I don't speak up for others, what happens when someone needs to speak up for me and there's no one left for me? I have power in my voice. So why not use that opportunity to support others? In order to cultivate an inclusive workplace or improve on your current efforts, I would really say talk to your people. Get to know who you have in your organization, learn them, their needs, their identities a little bit better, and then try your best to meet their needs.
My advice to businesses that want to cultivate a more inclusive workspace is to make sure that the communities that they serve are reflected on the inside of the business. I think that makes our patients much more comfortable, much happier because they feel seen when they come.
First and foremost, I would say to set up and support employee resource groups within your company. We have a number of those at Hayes U.S. Corporation, including one for the LGBTQ+ community. It's important not to just set up those ERGs. You have to give them a voice and a place at the table.
One of Enterprise's founding values is that great things happen when we listen to our customers and to our employees. And so I think that's a really good place to start, just by listening. So one of my favorite things about my company is that we have implemented a bunch of employee resource groups. That really helps our employees find their tribe.
Our biggest accomplishment is elevating above statistics and potluck lunches and things like that, and really making DE&I part of the leadership mindset. We have complex problems to solve for businesses, and we have smart people who have very strong opinions. And so if you don't focus on DE&I or equitable perspectives, you don't really create a winning business in the market today.
J&J employees are empowered to bring their full selves to work. We want to be an LGBTQIA+ employer of choice for our community. We started our ERG back in 1993, so 30 years ago. We're actually the oldest ERG at Johnson & Johnson. Started with 20 people in a glee club, and over time have evolved to 4,600+ employees and allies across the globe.
PSTA's greatest achievement for equality in the workplace is really our culture. We want everyone to feel included. We have representation of many different ethnicity groups. We have a Pride ERG, we have a Veterans ERG, and these are groups that meet and discuss issues that are happening in the world and making sure not only PSTA employees feel included, but actually making sure our community of all Pinellas County feels included and they feel like we care, we listen for them, and we make sure no one is left behind.